If you have ADHD, AuDHD, or autism, should you get diagnosed? In my opinion, no. And this is just my opinion because everybody's situation is different, right? So in my case, for example, I live in Japan. I run my own business and I am masking pretty well and I'm highly functioning. So in my case, it might not make sense. For other people, it might make sense. But why do I think that it doesn't make sense for me, right? And maybe you will find yourself in that situation. So number one, why would you need it? What's the benefit of that? And usually the benefit is, there can be two benefits, right? One is practical. So if you get diagnosed, then you will be able to receive some accommodations. Maybe you will have some unemployment. Maybe you will be treated in a certain way by, let's say, the government, right? So that's one. And number two is for the peace of mind. So now you know that, yes, finally, I understand it. So those are two things that I personally see. And of course, it depends on your severity, right? So that's the reasons why you would do that. So what are the reasons why not, right? And so in my case, for example, I live in Japan, and number one, it would be very expensive. Number two, there is a stigma in Japan and in many other countries too. And so if you say, well, oh, I have autism, well, then people will be like, oh, you are that kind of person, like it's kind of like saying that you are sick in some way, like a crazy person, people don't know. Like people, as I see it, right? People judge the book by the cover, right? And so if you put the label, the diagnosis on the cover, right? Then they will not read the book. They will be like, you are the autistic guy or girl or whatever person. And so I think that will be against you. Anything that you might do wrong, any conflict that you will find yourself in, people will be like, you are that autistic person. Well, that explains it. You are just not normal. You are free. So to avoid that, I would personally not even mention it. And so imagine if you are diagnosed. Now, let's say you want to get a job, right? And then the hiring person will ask you, well, would you like to disclose any medical conditions? If you're diagnosed, no, you have to mention it. And if you don't mention it, so if you are diagnosed and you don't mention it, then should any trouble ever arise, they will be like, wait a second. You were diagnosed, let's say, autistic, and you didn't say that? Well, that's a breach of contract. You're fired. Don't come tomorrow. We don't pay you any money. It's not we are firing you. No, you broke the contract. Now we can sue you. So from my perspective, it's like one of those things, like, when police arrest you, like everything you say may and will be used against you in the court of law. It's kind of that. So if you have a diagnosis, you have to tell everybody about it, and you might not want to. And especially if you are, let's say, masking and highly functioning, like in my case, I think most people don't realize it. And so in my case, I wouldn't even need that. And if you want to get its diagnosis for some accommodations, I mentioned it in another video that if they are not willing to accommodate you as a person, right, as a human being, right, maybe you want to use headphones when it's okay, right? Maybe you want to sit in that case, in the, let's say, one side of the room, right, not in the middle. Like we all are individuals, right? So nobody will diagnose you as unique person, right? They will put a label on you, and then people will judge the label. So if the company is not willing to accommodate you as a person, they will probably not accommodate you as a autistic person or ADHD person or I don't know. Basically, I don't think it makes sense.